Welcome to Football Overseas, your favorite sports hub where passion meets sports. Whether it's club football, international tournaments, or global leagues, we bring every game, every story, every debate straight to you. During the international break, every continent comes alive on our channel, Eurovision, all things Europe, Nations League, Euros, FIFA WC qualifiers. Goal Plus Africa, Africa's Heartbeat, AFCON, CHAN, COSAFA Cup, FIFA WC qualifiers. Libertadores Vision, South America Uncovered, Copa Libertadores, Copa America, WC qualifiers. Silk Dynasty, Asia Spotlight, Asian Cup, WC qualifiers. Harambee Stars Unleashed, everything about Kenya's national team. When club football dominates, we go deeper, United Frontline, the ultimate Man United fan experience. Echoes of Anfield, Liverpool like you've never seen it. House of Galacticos, Real Madrid Uncovered. Premier League Game Month Show, Stats, Analysis, Insights every 4 game weeks. Champions Crystal Ball, UEFA Tournaments, Club World Cup, Super Cup Predictions. Final Whistle Debate Show, the hottest sports topics debated by experts, every 6 weeks. Deal Paranoia, transfer window coverage you can't miss. And for weekly predictions? We cover everything, Premier League, Championship, FA Cup, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, League One, DStv Premiership, T20 Cricket, F1, Women's Super League, international tournaments, and much more. Why subscribe? Because we don't just show games, we predict, analyze, debate, and break the stories that matter. From transfers to tactical battles, from managerial appointments to live watch-alongs, Football Overseas gives you the edge no other channel does. This is your hub for global sports, where every match counts, every opinion matters, and every fan belongs. Subscribe, join the debate, and fuel your passion. The game doesn't wait, and neither should.
Yo, big up football overseas, YouTube up football overseas fans and audience, and we're live for AFCON Women's AFCON 2026 slash Women's World Cup, Africa World Cup qualifiers 2027. So I know you're wondering what I mean by that, and this is game week 3, the last group game, the last game week to end the group stage. Obviously, what happened? Um, sorry for the noise and disturbance. Some people are making noise there, and it has been annoying. So, 20 teams have qualified for the Women's World AFCON, and only 8 teams will go to the final. Yo, man, like the call hiding. Yeah, let me put a link in the chat. Yeah, I've put a link in the chat so that you can join, and I'll put in the chat for those who want to join. Hop on, we talk about your team. Yeah, so the thing about noisy members is that they make noise, and that's why I wasn't able to join other streams today. Delayed, so apologies for being delayed. And yeah, so for this AFCON, Women's AFCON, 20 teams have entered this tournament. 8 teams will go to the quarterfinals, and 4 teams out of the quarterfinals, those 4 teams that won the quarterfinals will qualify directly to the Women's World Cup 2027. For the 4 losers from the quarterfinals will go to the play-ins, and where they play into the International Confederation playoffs. So that's what will happen, and that's why I'm calling it a double tournament tier. So obviously, some teams have already qualified to quarterfinals, and that is not a debate based on their group ranking. They have already sealed. They have already sealed qualification automatically. Teams like Morocco, teams like Yeah, Malawi have sailed. Yeah. Yo, they go on, man. How you doing?
Ah, good, good, Kylo. Woke up,
Yeah,
ready. We're ready for to make some final group stage predictions.
yeah,
It's gonna be interesting.
and obviously, yeah. So we start off with the first game. The first game will be Senegal versus Morocco. That is a tasty game. Senegal will be looking to seal third place because will be seal second place because they know if they seal second place, they could face upon uh, if they seal second place, they could face against Ivory Coast or South Africa or Tanzania or Burkina Faso. One of those teams. If they seal second place. Morocco have already sealed first place. So Morocco is guaranteed to face against one one of the Tanzania, Burkina Faso or South Africa. So yeah, both teams Morocco will obviously rotate for this game, but Senegal, it's a must-win game because they're third. What are your thoughts on Senegal's women's AFCON performances so far?
Senegal, they lost 2-0 to Algeria. Was deserved loss. They didn't do enough in their attack against Kenya. Their Senegalese team goalkeeper won them the game, which put them in a position to potentially qualify for the quarterfinals. But head to head is what leaves them in third because of the 2-0 defeat to Algeria. And Senegal will have to better Algeria's result, knowing that Algeria have got Kenya in the other game concurrently. Senegal have got a tough assignment against Morocco as well. And bear in mind, these two teams actually met in the third round, in the third group game last at AFCON, and Morocco won via a penalty, 1-0.
Yeah, I
So it's
remember.
a similar situation. Senegal, they will need to find the goal against Morocco to stand any chance of qualifying. Because the longer the game goes on, you think Morocco will definitely get in more into it. I think Morocco will probably more like dictate proceedings. But the longer the Senegal doesn't score, Morocco, you just have with the players that they have, they could always find a goal at any moment.
Yeah, true. But but considering that Morocco is going to rotate, will you think will Morocco play a full team or will Morocco play a rotated team or Morocco rotate some but keep some starters? What do you think Morocco will approach this game as in terms of game
I
management?
think I think Morocco personally rotate. It was different last year because Morocco didn't get maximum points and Zambia had a chance to finish top, so Morocco had to go strong. But even Moroccan's strong team, they only could beat Senegal by a goal. So it's going to be interesting to see which players take the field for Morocco today. I think Masoudi, um, Jaridi, players like that, you would expect to be benched, or maybe one of them starts and then the other holds bench, and maybe we see some players who haven't really got a chance to shine. Maybe they can shine in this game. So it's all wait and see what Vilda does with his ladies.
Yeah, it is. It is a wait and see to see what he does with his midfield, with his players. But I think, in terms of my personal thought, I think Morocco will rotate. And considering that Morocco's full strength team can beat Senegal last time out by a close scoreline, and look like in terms of head to head, Morocco dominates there in head to head. Senegal starts the women's at park. And I think Senegal was shocked that they lost to Algeria 2-0. That was a big shock to them because many expected Senegal to beat Algeria, considering the big name that Senegal has and the name that Algeria has formed for itself in African football. And that was a real shock in the system. And then I think against Kenya, it should have been an opportunity for Senegal to rank up the goal difference that they lost. Yeah, each they fell to. Even though they got the win, the 3 points are important. And I'm proud of my nation for not letting Senegal run to us and not let massacre happen. We we held it us. Senegal, that's were poor, and they could have rebounded the goal difference in that game. It could have been a 2-0 game or a 3-0 game. It was up to Senegal to decide. So I think in this game, I even though I know Senegal will be hoping to beat Morocco so that they can qualify for second place. Yeah, and then also hopefully they know they're hoping to qualify for the Women's World Cup 2027 because this is a double tournament. It's also is treated as our qualifier for the Women's World Cup 2027. Are you aware of that?
Yep, I'm aware of that. That's why with my
Yeah,
nation, we'll get onto them real soon. We have to be in the Women's World Cup. There's no excuse for us not to be. But for everyone
yeah,
else, it's a big chance to actually punch your spot into Brazil next year and boost appeal for the women's game.
yeah. And for Senegal, it's a must win in this game. But sadly, I don't think Senegal will get the win that they'll be looking for. It will be hard. It will be a sad day, but I think Senegal will have to go home and they'll head home that night. Morocco's women's team is just too good. The men team are just too good, and I don't know what Morocco is doing in terms of sport development that's making the national teams hard to beat, and what other African nations are not copying from there. But we should be learning more from what Morocco is doing. But apart from that, I think I'm going to go for 2-0 win for Morocco so that Morocco qualifies as first and Senegal qualifies as Morocco qualifies top of the table with 9 points. Senegal ends the group stage with 3 points and third place. What are your predictions for that game?
I I see Morocco winning, maybe a 1 or 2-0, but Morocco will take the win. They will bank another clean sheet, and their defense, well, won't be breached as of yet.
Yeah. And yeah, the next game is Algeria versus Kenya. A personal game. I thought, to be honest, I knew coming to this group stage that Kenya will not do so well in this tournament. So I thought we are looking at this group stage and the team members. I knew that Kenya will finish fourth. Can't even tell. They put us in a group of death kind of match, in group of death kind of group where they have three African giants, Algeria, Morocco, and Senegal, and most of them will be wanting to take 3 points off Kenya. They'll be seeing Kenya as an easy 3 points. Obviously, so far we have lost 2 games. We have lost 2 games where one we lost 4-0 to Morocco. That's where we were horrible against Morocco. Against Senegal, we improved. We lost 1-0, but there was some kind of improvement, at least in terms of defense. Now, in this game, what I like to see is an attacking improvement against Algeria. I want to see an attacking improvement. I want to see at least Kenya heading home with at least a goal scored. Yeah, at least attacking players to show that there's some output. They didn't just go to the pass to the to Morocco and not score or have a goal scored for Kenya. So at least that, and Kenya should at least aim for 1 point against Algeria. I know if Kenya gets a point against Algeria, Senegal, and Senegal will be very happy. Any point against Algeria, but sadly, I don't think that will happen. I think Algeria will try to beat Kenya 1-0. They really impressed me by beating Senegal 2-0, and we all know that Morocco was obviously going to beat Algeria 1-0. So, yeah, what are your thoughts of this game?
I see, like, there is potential that Kenya could get a point. Hopefully your wishes come true. But I think Algeria will be looking at Senegal thinking, I'm not leaving anything to chance, because they don't want that 1982 to happen in 2026 with the women. And well, it almost happened in the World Cup as well, where Algeria made it through to the knockouts. So they don't want lightning to strike twice. I think Algeria will win 2-1. I'm backing both nations to score.
Yeah, so you're backing 2-1 to Algeria, right?
Yeah, 2-1 Algeria.
Yeah, at least it's some improvement. At least that the Kenya has gotten a goal scored. For Algeria, it will mean that it is another game where they have given away. They have lost an opportunity to get a clean sheet. 2 games to get a clean sheet. So yeah, I think we go from one. We go from one determined, almost determined group to another group where it is more of open. Now this group is a group where the 2 games are very open, and the 2 games matter to everyone because of how close the groups team members are. So that is Group B, the group of Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Tanzania, and South Africa. Yes. What are your thoughts on Group B?
Anyone's game. Ivory Coast were very unlucky that they didn't secure the win against South Africa. Otherwise, they would have been through right now. They would have probably even rotated the team. 100% they would have been like Morocco as well. But South Africa gave themselves a fighting chance. Otherwise, they would have been out. They would have been gone. So, in this group, we got Tanzania versus Ivory Coast. And qualification places up for grabs. Tanzania, the BURKINA They were happy that South Africa scored that late equaliser. And the Burkina Bay, they secured a 2-1 victory over 10 Lady Tanzania. A very controversial game because Tanzania had a goal ruled out and they had a red card.
Yeah, I remember.
They came through. They got their maiden win, just like Malawi. And the Burkina Bay, they could be heading to the next round. They got South Africa, and they've got the ability to send South Africa home. They got the ability to send the 2022 Women's Champions home.
Yeah, and
No World Cup.
yeah, and you know what's funny? The con is that Hano was saying that South Africa could South Africa will win it back, will win the AFCON, will win the women's AFCON back. You're so confident about it, and I told him I messaged. I remember messaging. Wait, I remember messaging him, telling him that I feel the next few years will be a rough year for both the men and women. So South Africa, and he wasn't so he was so confident it wouldn't be. But it seems like I'm right about that. But anyway, my thoughts on this group is this group is so open. Everyone heading to game week 3. Yeah, where every course is. It means that anyone can be first, anyone can be second, anyone can be third, anyone can be fourth, and any minute matters in these 90 minutes that are happening. Yeah, so obviously my thoughts South Africa versus Ivory Coast, that was an entertaining game to watch for neutral. It's a 2-2 draw. That was a good match to watch. Yeah, Burkina Faso, Tanzania gave Burkina Faso a hard fight. Even though Burkina Faso won with 2 men with a man advantage, South Africa, Tanzania did not give up. Tanzania fought it hard, and that's the difference between Tanzania and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso had 10 men, and they were smashed by the Ivory Coast 4-1. Well, look at those two differences. With 10 men, Burkina Faso was smashed by Ivory Coast 4-1, and Tanzania 10 men lost to Burkina Faso 2-1. That is the strength of East Africa, the East Africa region. Yeah, so also Tanzania has been doing well this women's AFCON, getting a win, a shock win against against South Africa. No one expected that. Almost fighting for a draw, but nearly missing out against Burkina Faso. No one expected that. And Ivory Coast played very well. The real shocker in this group is South Africa being bottom of this group with 1 point. The 2022 women's AFCON winner being bottom, that's a shocker. But yeah, I for real thought it was going to be Tanzania bottom of this group, not not South Africa. But anyway, we start off with the first group: first game for South Africa versus Burkina Faso. Thoughts on the game, Nikon?
Swan South Africa out. I don't care what the result is. I want them out. After that conflict, bearing in mind, I'm not going to say my piece. Right? South Africa, the only reason you are 2022 Women's Champions was because you beat the best women's team that there was to offer in Nigeria. Yeah? Look at last year. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, what happened last year? Oh, yeah, I can repeat what happened last year. Oh, yeah, we took the chain back. We
took it back. Ayozi, my babes, Ayozi, send your pack into the bronze medal match. And what about my West African brothers? You were playing Ghana? And you lost to the Ghanaians. You lost to the Ghanaians. You couldn't keep your composure on penalty shootout despite Ghana missing their first pen. Wow, what? And I was saying they're gonna take the chain back. What chain? What chain? What chain? Humble up the East African brothers. Kylo's East African brothers, Tanzania put them in a split, certainly. And you lot should have been out. I was in 9 minutes against Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, the night top spot. And you look at the Ivory Coast, if I'm Ivory Coast, I'm feeling we might not get top spot. We could be playing Morocco next round. It's like, nah. What? And the Birkin base. These South Africans were hate watching the Tanzanians, not realizing that Birkin Bay win would give them confidence. Oh, nah, you're gonna have to hold on that one. You're gonna have to hold. Carried away for what? Another Birkin Bay. You saw what I saw what Malawi did to my nation. They think that the Birkin Bay can't do the same to them. And Birkin Bay got nothing to lose, by the way. That's what makes them so dangerous. Even Malawi, top of our group, we're gonna get onto them. Dangerous nations. No expectations. South Africa with all the expectations. Top. Oh, we're gonna be top. Nah. You see, the Women's World Cup was a level playing field with all these shocks and everything. Come on now. Be real. They've not even lost to Namibia. They lost to their neighbours. They even drew with Lesotho, a country that's within South Africa. Come on now. Come on. They're not built for this. The mineral them. These should have improved since 2022. But aside from one Women's World Cup victory against Italy, have they really done anything? They've been losing or dropping points against teams that they really shouldn't have. That's not the hallmark of champions. That's the hallmark of second place. Hell, you didn't even get second, you finished fourth. And you couldn't even finish fourth in this group because I think Burkina Faso will give it everything that they've got. Yes, they lost to the Ivory Coast, but the Birkin Bay, they don't have superstars, star players, but they want to put on, they want to give the fans back something. Their second women's AFCON. Yeah, they had Morocco and Senegal in their group. It was a bit unfair, you know. They only had 1 point against Uganda. But now Burkina Faso, they could. I'm not saying they're going to win. I don't think Burkina Faso would kind of win against South Africa. I mean, it would be nice if they did, but I think I see a draw. I think I see a draw in this game. But you know how South Africa, right? You can't even cancel them out. I think probably a 1-1 draw will probably sound fair. I think Burkina Faso's approach should want to be utilize the defense and be disciplined. And if Burkina Faso can do that, then there's hope. There's hope for the rest of Africa to copy performances like we've seen with them, like we've seen with Tanzania, like we've seen with Malawi. There's hope.
Yeah. And beautiful speech from the Nigerian Deacon on his head watch on South Africa. So he's predicting a draw. I agree with him. I think a one draw. I was actually watching South Africa in the matches, and I was like, finally, South Africa is getting their justice. Kituma talking all they're going to top this group. Is it group? Those things. They looked at Tanzania and thought Tanzania is a 3 point. Tanzania shocks the Swahili brother. My Swahili brothers humbled them by putting them to that place, beating them 2-1, and then they go and get a murky the dog fight against Ivory Coast 2-2. That means it like South Africa in the trenches. It's the same thing, and it's a sad state for the nation. World Cup 2026, they struggled. The men struggled. The men had to earn the points 2-2. That even the round of six, in the round of 32, that the struggle there, and sadly they were knocked out. They were knocked out. They even went to be knocked out in the group stage. If that poor performances from other teams, but South Africa hasn't been doing well. They've been using the guidance of other teams to help uplift their poor form. Yeah, no hate to South Africa, but I think in this group stage, this group has shown how down bad you're going to. I don't know what's going on in South Africa right now because your men and women they're going to have a rough time in playing African football in the next few years. I know that how they have fires for the men in for 2027, but I think that will be a rough AFCON qualifiers. It won't be an easy one. And now for the women, basically the women are out. I think when you face a team like Burkina Faso has beaten Nigeria too many times. There has been sometimes where it has been a draw, sometimes it has been a win. And if South Africa cannot comfortably beat Nigeria, I can say that this could be a draw as well. Burkina Faso wants to when Burkina Faso is looking at this game, they'll be approaching this game with a mentality of Ivory Coast can beat Tanzania no matter what. Ivory Coast will beat Tanzania whether they play the A team or the B team. Ivory Coast will beat Tanzania. So for us, what we just need to do is to get a minimum of a draw. They'll be happy with a draw. It will frustrate South Africa because I think Burkina Faso will approach this game as playing defensive and gets that's 1 point and we are through to second place. And you cannot blame them for that really. But if South Africa get they have to play, they have to get a confident win. And so far, with the kind of football they have been showing us, I don't think that attack and the defense can handle counter-attacking football because I know the game against Ivory Coast the attack did well, it's a defense that let them down. Considering 2 goals, that shows that there's something leaking in that defense that's not working. That needs to be fixed. Yeah. But apart from that, I think if with our predictions really, it means that Burkina Faso goes to second place temporarily, and South Africa goes bye bye home. Yeah. So next is Ivory Coast versus Tanzania. Tanzania is missing one man from this game.
Roman.
Do Sean. Yeah. So Dequan, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think we're gonna see a probably competitive game. Tanzania's plan went up in smoke after the horror against the Burkina Bay, but they've shown they've got what it takes to go toe to toe with nations as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they square up against the Ivory Coast. They actually beat the Ivory Coast to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations in the women's game. They beat, I think they beat Ivory Coast beat them in the first seed, and Tanzania beat them in the second. I'm not even sure what happened after that. But I think Tanzania they did make the like the Ivory Coast. They didn't. This their maiden. Well, this is the maiden one, and with the Ivory Coast, we know a few of their players. Ines Conan plays for Strasbourg women. Bernadette Amani plays for Bayern women. Bayern's a really good women's side. So first Ivorian to play for them. Then you got Rosemonde Kouassi. She plays for the Washington Spirit in America. So Ivory Coast, they've got some reputable players over there, especially playing for the Washington Spirit in America. That's really huge. You know, owned by Michelle Kang. So that's massive. And Ivory Coast, over this year, their women's game, they've gone up a level. They've gone up a few notches, and it's great to see. Tanzania, they need to secure a win or rely on a draw and hope South Africa actually turn up for once, because if South Africa turned up against Burkina Faso and Tanzania secure a draw, Tanzania would be in based on the head-to-head record. Tanzania beat South Africa, so that win was very important in the grand scheme of things. Even Tanzania could even secure top spot if they secure the win and avoid the dreaded Morocco that awaits them next round. And I'm sure that Tanzania will probably want to qualify, but they know if they buck up against Morocco, then yeah, it could be a real massacre. And I don't think the Ivory Coast, I don't think they probably want to square up against Morocco, but back in the days, I think Ivory Coast actually got a draw out of Morocco. Back in the days, like we're talking 8 years ago now. Let's just go draw against Morocco. But I think like you say, I reckon Ivory Coast will be favorite, or maybe Tanzania turn up. Or I mean, this game could just mean anything. It just depends on mentality. How bad do Tanzania want to qualify? How bad do Ivory Coast want to finish top and make a huge statement for them as well? Because they've got goals in them. They've got goals in them. The Ivory Coast, and they are the top goal scorers of the women's AFCON so far. Wouldn't you believe it? The Ivory Coast, crazy. Along with Malawi and of course Zambia, but Zambia scored 6 in one game. But that's crazy. Ivory Coast, first Women's Africa Cup of Nations, scoring 6 goals in a group that consists of South Africa. I have to respect that. I really do.
And obviously it's going to be a tight game, as you mentioned. Ivory Coast has really played quite well. I think with the kind of game that really impressed me is how Ivory Coast beat 10 men Burkina Faso. That game was 4-1, and I was really because attack and the defense is top notch. Yes, they conceded 1 goal, but surely that can be forgiven by the goals that they scored. So I think in terms of that, Ivory Coast has been high there. The only time when that defense has been really tested was against a thirsty South Africa side, a very very thirsty South Africa side that was thirsty for goals, more and more goals. So I think that's the only time that defense was tested, and against Tanzania, I think I with there I look at Tanzania is the same way I look at Burkina Faso. Their kind of defense are similar, but Burkina Faso defense is more higher, you can say, than Tanzania. So if Burkina Faso can beat Tanzania, Ivory Coast surely can beat Tanzania. But again, look at the head-to-head. Both teams at one win, one win. I was actually shocked that Tanzania beat Ivory Coast. I was proud of them, and it seems like the investment the president is doing, Madam President is doing, is she's really investing into women's sports, and that's something that should be encouraged more and more. So I think kudos to Tanzania for that, my Swahili brothers, and you're making the Swahili region proud. Yeah. And when you face against Ivory Coast, you should not be afraid of Ivory Coast. You have faced them before. You have beaten them before. So why not? Let's do it again. Why not shock the Africa and beat Ivory Coast again? I know it will send a big shock beating them twice because once you beat Ivory Coast once, they're like, oh, that's just an that's just a one-time thing. But if you beat a big nation twice, they say like maybe this nation should be a nation that we should start considering a threat. Yeah, a giant killer. And I started considering South Africa a giant killer once I saw that they beat Ivory Coast. So in this game, I predict 2-1. Yeah. Um, the one you can take us to Egypt versus Nigeria as I get my charger.
Here we go. Yeah. Big, big stakes. Big stakes indeed as we approach Group C. Malawi, top of Group C with a 100% record. They beat my nation and they beat Egypt. So they are well placed to secure qualification into the next round. And as we know, Malawi, they got the Chawinga sisters. They are out here pulling strings. You got Tabifa, scored against my nation, plays for Leon woman. She's a goal scorer. I mean, got put into perspective. She just scores goals wherever she goes. Played for Inter, top scored. Played for PSG, got 24 goals. Then you got Temwa, who's the younger out of the two Chomino sisters, bearing in mind Tabitha is 30 and Temwa is 27. She's doing her thing in America for Kansas City. I would honestly say Chomino is probably one of the best, if not the best lady to play in America over all these ladies. I mean, I probably watched a couple North American NWSL games, and Chawinga's probably one of the, if not the best. I mean, it's probably hard even looking at it. Probably even saying it. Chawinga's probably the best lady out there, and it's no surprise that Malawi was going to be really competitive in this group, regardless. The way they won against my nation was, that's what happens when you don't play players in the right positions, and well, now we have to fight for qualification. I mean, if we just put players in the right positions in the first place, maybe we could have rested players against Egypt. We could have rested players against Egypt. Just a tad, because I was looking at it. But when we did defeat the Zambia by the goal, and how ironic, we actually played better with 10 ladies. We actually played way better with 10 ladies. And it's like all right now. They had to literally put a Yosi on a doping test because she was out here cooking. Like, energetic work rate, that's what I want. I'm not saying we have to blow away teams, but at least give your all and show
show people why you are Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Women's Champions of Africa. Show them why you are the standard. Show them why you deserve to be at the Women's World Cup. That's what I always want. You know, we've won like 10 AFCONs. We're going for our 11th, and I know that we've literally been farming the women's game of Africa. And I know that everyone's gonna want to catch up now, and I know that nations are catching up. You know, which is actually crazy in an extent, to an extent, because my club is the standard of women's football, and my nation is like the standards of women's football. And Zambia, yeah, 6 goals against Egypt, but couldn't reach the Niger Super Falcon defense. I mean, every time they must be cursed. I think Zambia must be cursed. I think Banda must be cursed. Every time she goes on a mad thing, and when you're back up against Nigeria, well, you don't get room to do a thing. And I know Zambia, I think someone was saying on my last short, because I posted Zambia 6 Egypt, Zambia 6 no win over Egypt. They were saying Zambia's a strong team. And then we was like, you gotta be strong to take us out. I mean, Zambia, you shouldn't have let us live, because that's the danger. You shouldn't have let us live, and now we are going to punish. We're going to punish them for letting us live. I'm so sorry, but we have to do what we have to do. And now Zambia, unless that game versus Malawi is crazy, in every metric, in every single metric, there is a high chance. I would say 90% chance Nigeria is making it out. All you just got to do is beat Egypt. Beat Egypt convincingly, slap them, put them out of their misery, make it quick, so that Zambia, Malawi, Zambia could just lose confidence against Malawi, the Shawika sisters, and their energetic attackers, and just, yeah. Great. I know that Malawi, Zambia is going to be a battle of between Chawinga and Banda, but I think the Chawinga sisters have a lot more to their game than Banda. I'll be so real. People will look at it and be like, oh, but she scored 4 goals and assisted once, against Egypt. But when I look at women's players' ability, Chawinga just offers a lot more. Like, I've seen her play for Lyon against Arsenal. Well, she didn't play. She was benched in the first. Well, she was benched in the women's semi-finals against Arsenal. But against last year she played. I actually went to see her play. Well, the Tabifa lady. I mean, Tem was better now, but Tabifa obviously does, I think more or less. So she didn't really offer much against Arsenal, but yeah, Tem was better. Does a thing in America, so she's better out of the two. And then Banda, because she's been out, she's a natural goal scorer. She's got height, she's 5'11", pushing 6 foot, 5'10", that's crazy tall for a lady as well. Even the Chawingas, they're actually quite tall for ladies as well, so they've got ability as well, dribbling and all of that. But for me, if I had to make a concrete prediction for the game in terms of like qualifications and everything, I wouldn't be surprised about the two teams cancelling each other out. I mean, Malawi, they probably most likely finish top anyways. I mean, a draw means that they are top of the group. There could be a situation where all 3 teams finish on 6 points. Let's talk about that scenario. If Malawi finish on 6 points, if Nigeria finish on 6 points, if Zambia finish on 6 points, Well, it's head-to-head games. In that scenario, it's not head-to-head games or like between everybody. It's head-to-head games based between the teams, which is very interesting because we lost to Malawi. We defeated Zambia, and Malawi defeated. Oh, this is a bit crazy because in that situation, if Zambia beat Malawi, that's a win for them, and then they lost to us. And Nigeria would have one win, Malawi would have one win, one loss. So it'd be a situation where it could even be very complicated. I'm even struggling to even calculate the whole thing as well. Malawi beat us 3-2. Zambia, unless this is the type of win that Zambia have to win. If Zambia win 1-0, I don't think that means much for them. It sounds like their goal difference and stuff because they'd still be behind us. I think they'd still be behind us. We scored 3. We've conceded 3, and then Malawi would have scored 3, and then they would have conceded 3 if it's like a 1-0 win, and Zambia in this case it would be 1-1, 1-1, 1 goal scored, 1 goal conceded. So if it's a 1-0 win, Zambia is going home. In this case here, I'm not even so sure. Well, I think Malawi wins the tiebreaker. Like this is how it. I think Malawi wins the tiebreaker because Malawi and Nigeria have the same goal difference head-to-head between the teams concerned. It's like if it's a 2-0 win, Zambia top the group. If it's 2-0 win for Zambia, or Zambia win by 2 regardless in this situation, Zambia top the group. We can't top the group. Because we didn't beat Zambia by enough goal head-to-head between the teams concerned. So like any situation, Nigeria can't top the group. As much as I probably want to top the group, I don't think we are going to top the group unless some crazy metric just comes up. I probably have to research it as soon as possible. You know, I think Nigeria will finish second in the group, regardless of what happens. Malawi and Zambia will secure a draw, but don't leave it to chance on Zambia winning. I think everything just all of a sudden just gets very complicated because it will get very complicated indeed. You know. So that is crazy. One rare exception: Zambia beat Malawi by exactly 1 goal in a high-scoring match, like a 4-3 or 5-4. That outcome eliminates Nigeria. But Nigeria will need to win by only like 1 goal, then they will be through in regardless. Draw would leave Nigeria needing Malawi to drop points. The defeat would put the fate in Zambia's hands. Win against Egypt and we're through. Shout out to Victor Ademola. He's come through with the information as well at this time of need. And yeah, big up to Asiat Olashola, scoring in 5 different Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament. 2022, she was nice on a knee injury, so she barely played. She couldn't score. Crazy.
And yeah, actually, looking into this game as well, I think Nigeria's title defending campaign has been quite of a disappointment, as you can say. The performance, I thought you guys were horrible defensively. In attack, you guys were good in attacking wise, but not finishing much chances as well. And I guess Zambia, you should have used that opportunity to rack up more goals and rack up so that can turn your GD to a positive GD instead of zero now. So I think if you had racked up your GD and reduced the GD of Zambia, that will have helped you going into game week 3. But again, I guess Egypt, it is a blessing in disguise because if there's one nation where the women's team were horrible in this AFCON is Egypt. Egypt with 10 men, Egypt with one lady advantage. How are you losing to 10 ladies? Malawi 3-1. Not even losing, you're being smashed 3-1. Even to Zambia, you're being smashed by Zambia 6-0. It's like you're being smashed right, left, and center. And the next smashing is against Nigeria. Yeah, I think in this game, Nigeria will easily smash Egypt because the morale is down. If you cannot beat 10 ladies team and they're being smashed by 10 ladies, how do you expect to beat Nigeria to qualify to the second round, to the quarterfinals? And Nigeria has at least gotten a win. Yeah, your South Africa will win. Yeah, man like Shajado saying South Africa will win. I don't think South Africa will win. I think South Africa will be knocked out. I'll be honest there. I think South Africa is heading home against Burkina Faso. I don't believe in South Africa beating Burkina Faso. You guys had a poor WAFCON, women's AFCON, and he also had a poor World Cup as well. And but that's being honest. Yeah, I think South Africa is going through a phase where you're going to have a rough phase in terms of men and women's football is concerned, and it is just beginning with the men suffering in terms of the World Cup and the women suffering in terms of the women's AFCON as well. So it's going to be a rough phase. But where I was saying with Egypt versus Nigeria, I think Nigeria will beat Egypt at 2-0. Yeah, so next game Zambia versus Malawi. Obviously, this is a game between top two. Malawi has beaten Nigeria 3-2. Malawi 10 men, 10 ladies. Malawi smashed Egypt 3-1. It is a commendable result. Malawi is heading to this game where they have a lady missing this game due to suspension. Zambia performed well against Egypt. They underperformed against 10. Wait, no, Nigeria had 10 men, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
we had 10 ladies
I
in
guess.
Zambia.
Oh, I guess Zambia. Okay, you had 10 men. So yeah, Zambia had a lady, an extra ready advantage, and they still lost to Nigeria 1-0. Yes, I know Nigeria is a bigger side, but riding on form, they have just beaten a big team like Egypt. Surely, they could have gotten a shock to Nigeria at least. Yeah, but anyway, moving forward, I think in this game, I'm backing on Zambia. I think Malawi is focusing on the quarterfinals fixture rather than this last group game, and don't most likely rotate the ladies. Maybe not full rotation, but a half rotation. Yeah, change some sides here and there, and yeah. So I think from that aspect, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Zambia. What about you, Dequan? And what are your thoughts on this comment as well?
Um, in the back of my mind, I think. Hold on, let me just. So, kind of 2-1 Zambia win means that head-to-head wise, Zambia would have conceded 2 goals and they would have scored 2 against Malawi. And then Malawi would have conceded 5 goals and scored 4. So in this case, Nigeria, actually no, Nigeria. Actually, wait. I think you might be onto something, guys. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Actually, no. Actually, no.
Yes, Nigeria will have qualified.
We would have qualified.
Nigeria will have qualified.
But no. Hold on. 2 goals. 2. No. We wouldn't be top. We wouldn't be top. I think 4 goals scored from Mali, 4 goals conceded in the head-to-head games between the 2 nations, with Zambia scoring twice. Zambia conceded 2.
Yeah.
In this case, I don't think
it's very interesting.
Malawi still be top based on the head-to-head. Based on the head-to-head teams between the teams concerned, and they've scored more goals. They scored 1 more goal than Nigeria. 1 more goal in the head-to-head games between the 2, not excluding Egypt.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah, true. So Nigeria finished second, right?
Yeah, Nigeria finished second.
Okay, but
Zambia will have to win by clear 2 goals. 1 isn't enough. They have to win by 2 to go through, and that eliminates Malawi. If Nigeria win,
so basically Malawi is basically through to the next round, as I said. Either way.
In a way, but if they get carried away and they treat Zambia like underestimate the Zambians, then they could easily find themselves going home, because there's a 99% chance Nigeria is beating Egypt. A 99% chance.
Yeah. And I think as well, what can we say about this? Yeah, what are your thoughts on the game then? Like the 2 teams, their performances in the women's AFCON, and your prediction for Zambia versus Malawi. And also, I think there was a comment from Sigodi on South Africa will win the women's AFCON. Will win.
Win what? What does he mean? Win against Burkina Faso or win the AFCON? Because if
I think
you win the women's AFCON, that's not possible.
I think I'm taking in reference what he could mean. Hopefully, if I'm right, the safer win will be winning against Burkina Faso, but maybe
That's
he
reasonable.
means both. Yeah?
Both, yeah, no, you can forget about that women's AFCON. After all that
But
in 2022, yeah, we took the chain back, mate. Come get the chain.
yeah, but
Come get the chain. Come get it. Actually, even then, what's the point? Because even if you finish second, you got to buck up against Morocco. And you think, despite your head-to-head success against Morocco, come on, now, Morocco got something. Morocco ain't conceded no goal yet.
yeah, but anyway, and your thoughts on the game? Yeah, let me let you give your thoughts on this game as I
Malawi,
go and pick something.
Bush. Malawi deserved 100% record. The Chawinga sisters, they are out on smoke. Semba is the player to really watch out for. Zambia will need to really watch out for Semba. Tarifa, she's the older sister. You know, but even then you got Fatif Chinzimu, 19-year-old Malawian attacker. She basically played in the same team as Felicia Scorora. Now, if we know Felicia Scorora, she moved to Real Madrid, woman this summer, in the most expensive transfer ever for a teenager, a highly promising teenager, and we've got some highly promising teenager here, Faf Chinzimu from Malawi. She scored against Egypt. She played for the same team. She used to be teammates with Felicia Scorora. She moved to Real Madrid, woman. Most expensive teenager ever, the Shawinga sisters. They're going to be doing damage. And Rose Kazare, she even scored, grabbed an assist. She played for Montpellier over there in France. Montpellier women in France. Zambia, they've got to use Banda. They're going to get Banda in the game. They're going to get Rachel Kudanji in the game as well. They're relying on those two players to do something. And all in all, I reckon a draw. I reckon Malawi play cards right. They can get a draw. I think we can see the Chawinga sisters, you know, trying to best Banda, because, you know, Temba Chawinga, she plays for Kansas City in America, and Banda plays for the Orlando Pride, so they have their American rivalry there at club level. They brought it onto the international stage, and it's really high stakes as well, because in America they played at the end of season playoffs, and I know how stakes they can be. So similar stakes here, but on a more bigger scale, because Women's World Cup qualifier prize spots are on the line. Zambia, they was at the last Women's World Cup in 2023. They got a win over Costa Rica 3 years ago. So I think draw between the two nations.
But if it's a draw, it will favor your nation, right?
Yeah.
So
Favor my nation.
is that a fair prediction, or is that a biased prediction? Considering that you're Nigerian.
Anything that favors anything that favors Malawi, we'll take it. Even though I wish it was Nigeria top in the group, low key. But I mean, no, it's a fair prediction. It's a fair prediction, though. I think both these teams will go in to probably look to cancel each other out in a way. You know, Egypt is just the anomaly in this group.
Yeah. Anyway, so we move to one last group. Obviously, we have been live for 1 hour around there, and it's Group D. Finally, Group D of Cameroon, Ghana, Malawi, no, Mali, and Cape Verde. Obviously, Cape Verde is heading home, so three nations are competing for something. Yeah, Cameroon is already through to the quarterfinals as it stands automatically. Now, between Ghana and Mali for the second spot. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Ghana and Mali's performances in this women's of
I
so far?
actually watched Ghana versus Cameroon, like with the highlights of the game as well. Ghana having 5 shots on target. Binima making some important saves. She played for Benfica. She hasn't featured Benfica women. She hasn't featured in the Women's Champions League. I feel like she's Benfica's number 2 over there at club level. Manga is on 3 goals for Cameroon. A penalty settled the affairs. And I know now from a nation that we'll be facing off against Cameroon. Once again, we actually faced off against Cameroon in a double friendly encounter. Like we always play Cameroon ladies in friendlies and whatnot. We've traded victories against them. We traded victories against each other, but more or less, Nigeria have got the head-to-head edge over Cameroon. Ghana, I would say, Ghana, they just couldn't score. I kind of wanted to see how we would face off against the Ghanaians. To be fair, I don't think we played the Ghanaian ladies as much as we played the Cameroon ladies. And I know, like, the Jollof derby would have been big as well, man. Like quarterfinals as well, man. Like, I was saying to the Ghanaian ladies, I want to face off against Ghana, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how big that match was going to be, you know what I'm saying? Seeing all the Ghanaian ladies, them, they are shining and all that.
Ooh.
Man. That's my Niger big.
Especially the fans on and off the pitch, the Black Stars. Ooh.
Character, man. Character, no. But we won't get that. Ghana will likely play Malawi. Stuff, depending on how the knockout stages go. Depending on how the knockout stages go. Cameroon, they will be in the. They'll be in Morocco's. Oh hell! This is not the issue I have with Nigeria. We are going to most likely face off against Morocco in the semi-finals. You see what I'm saying here, bro? Losing to Malawi is now a pain because we got to buck up with the hosts even earlier. We can't even have a rematch. If we top Group C, this would have been a rematch again. But there'll be different finalists this time. It could be Morocco as a finalist based on the predicted bracket, or it could be someone else, like Ivory Coast. They might even fancy their chances heading into knockouts as well. Over Malawi, Ghana. Well, I reckon with the projected bracket, I reckon Ivory Coast gonna a crazy deep run.
Yeah.
On the other side of the
obviously, yeah. So obviously on that game of Ghana versus Malawi, since obviously they're fighting each other, no versus Mali, so Ghana versus Mali, since they're fighting each other in that game, and each point matters because if the result matters, if it's a draw, it favors Ghana and goes to. If it's a win, Ghana goes to. If it's a win for Malawi, Ghana goes home and Mali, sorry, I keep confusing the two. Mali replaces Ghana in second place. So, yeah, what are your predictions? Ghana versus.
If Mali, I'm not even sure where they're ranked in the women's rankings, but I know Ghana are really ranked high in Africa. They really compete well against England as well in the friendly. So they really limited England's chances in the friendly against them back in December. only losing 2-0. But overall, I think Ghana are a really strong women's team from Africa, really strong. Right now, they can be beaten, they can be got at, but I think in terms of consistency, Ghana have it more so than Mali. And it would be a big shot to the system, especially if Ghana wasn't to qualify out of this group. Cameroon, they've secured a top spot, and the Ghanaians should come through in second place, which means that whoever wins Group C, it could be Malawi or Zambia. Ghana, I think Ghana will square off against the winner of Malawi versus Zambia, or whoever finishes top on Group C. So Ghana, I think, will qualify alongside Cameroon and Cape Verde. Yeah, Cape Verde is basically out.
They're out. Yeah.
Yeah, Cape Verde's out. So it's
It's
just
sad. It's sad for us and the cameraman. It's another tournament where we don't see Cape Verde women, the fans in the final. So
basically only predicted like one game. It's Cameroon, Cape Verde's a formality. So I think Ghana, I think 2-1 Ghana, 2-1 Ghana, 2-1 Ghana.
yeah, and
Yeah, 2-1 Ghana.
Cameroon versus Cape Verde prediction.
Prediction. Yeah, Cameroon. 2-0 Cameroon.
Okay. My thoughts on Ghana versus Mali. Yeah, Ghana was a bit surprised to get a loss against Cameroon. That 1-0 loss was, I think, a system reset after beating 10 men Cape Verde 2-0. Again, it has been tight results here and there, and I think this game would follow a similar pattern where the winner will win by similar tight result, either a one goal difference or yeah, sort of thing. So I think that aspect. Cameroon versus Cape Verde. Um, Cameroon beat Mali 2-1, and Cameroon beat Ghana 1-0. I think Cameroon will rotate heavily against Cape Verde, and Cape Verde will step for a point. So I think that game will be 1-1. Ghana versus Mali, back to Ghana versus Mali. I think that will be a 2-1 game. And yeah, I think the hierarchy stays the same, but I think that's my predictions for those games. Yeah, thank you, Dequan, for joining us for this stream. Thank you for our audience for joining us. Thank you for Godi for commenting, coming, and it is you guys that make eFootball Overseas what it is. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Like the stream, comment down afterwards your thoughts on the game. Make it lively. We'll check the comment section after this. Yeah, and it is your channel, your favorite sports hub where passion meets sports. Apart from that, we'll see you on the next stream. Yeah.